everybody. Happy Friday, September 13th. Whoa, sorry, September 3rd, 2021. Hope you guys are all ready for a big, long weekend. So let's get after it here. Right, we're going to be a little bit careful this morning, right? Our objective today, right, is to kind of make sure that we're not leaving or finishing today's session with like a little bitter taste in our mouth or a little nasty taste, right? We want to make sure that whatever happens today, we're protecting sort of all the hard work we put in this week and not giving anything up, right? We're kind of anticipating, this market to kind of be a little bit slow, right? If I was working in an office today, I would have probably done everything I can to take the day off. Right, my objective would have been to place as little trades as possible. Right, if I was in the office, today would have been a day where kind of just messing about, right, gambling on a bunch of stuff with guys on the desk, not actually doing that much work, right? So I'm anticipating this to be maybe a bit of a slower day. If things don't move kind of in this first hour and a half, I don't expect them to move during the day. That being said, right, we're also going to make sure that we're not playing daily options today, right? We've got a couple things that are going to be potentially kind of like slowing us down or maybe acting as kind of that market molasses that we want to avoid, right? And one's going to be jobless numbers. Those come out in about 12 minutes, right? And then that second is going into a long weekend. So we have a high volatility event into a low volume event, right? So that's telling you a mixed story, right? Which maybe tells you, hey, it's going to be a little bit choppy today, right? So sizing down and only looking for plays in sort of that first 90 minutes. If we don't get anything to trigger then I'm done. I'm happy to call it, and I'm going to go enjoy my long weekend. So that's my objective for today. I hope you guys try to do the same thing, right? No need to give anything up. So let's get after it here very quickly, right? SPY, we're still struggling to break out and hold these all-time highs, right? It's a bit of a volume divergence. So trend line going up, right? Volume going down. So not telling us the same story, right? We'll see if this thing can like really start to behave appropriately and wants to kind of move towards that right direction. But for now, I think this still tells us a little bit of a confusing one, right? I am happy to play breakouts. I am happy to play breakdowns. Breakouts, probably path of least resistance, still goes to the upside, right? Breakdowns kind of move like 50 cents at a time, right? Similar story here on QQQ. Man, we talked about how this was basically a doji, right? Yesterday, indecisive. What was it? Indecisive Tuesday, indecisive Wednesday. Right, it creates a indecisive Friday. So red candle, but dip buyers, not really gapping up, not really gapping down, not doing much here. Our buyers probably looking for breakouts now. Doji plus a low vol pullback, right, can give you maybe that continuation breakouts up and over that 383 area. Right, Apple, same story, right? Maybe a little bit more biased to the downside for now, right? Maybe I don't like this hammer that much, right? We haven't created that setup yet. We haven't made a lower low under, say, that 152.30, right? So it's still in play. No fake out there yesterday. But I feel like today into a Friday like this, maybe the path of least resistance is to the upside above that 152.30 zone, right? Tesla, same story, maybe more bearish though, right? A few more pieces of evidence kind of bearish breakdowns, right? We've been talking about all week, right? All these wicks, right? All these sell-offs in the run-up here, right? These are all our kind of warning signs that, hey, maybe we're not going to get that follow through on this Tesla, right? So now we're at our key resistance zone, and it keeps rejecting. One rejection, two rejections, three rejections, right? Rejecting but not being able to break downs, maybe a bit of a warning sign that, hey, this thing might finally be ready to break today, especially if the market is strong. But if we're able to get that breakdown under the 725, I think that Tesla starts to look pretty interesting and moves like $5, $6, $7, $10 at a time before it can get down towards that $700 area, right? So if we can get that breakout, a strong volume push through that 742, okay, awesome, that sounds fantastic. But maybe we're starting to be told here that this is just the theme here of this pattern or of this kind of consolidation move up is it's going to kind of fake out its way there, and that's not going to give us very many easy entries, right? So if we can get some bearish breakdowns, I think this looks like it could be a lot of fun. Right, Microsoft, we've been talking about this consolidation here for a long time, and it just kind of keeps hanging out this 300 area, right? It doesn't want to break down, doesn't really want to break out. So we're going to keep watching this, seeing what it finally decides it wants to do. Once Microsoft has made up its mind, we have a plan on how to trade this either way. So a few other setups here this morning, right, that look like they could be interesting. Roku, it's starting to look like it's definitely going to be this bear flag, right? Where yesterday we had that bullish engulfing candle, right? Bullish engulfing on volume, right? Bullish engulfing. Couldn't make a higher high, so no entry there, right? Now we're getting this flag breakdown we talked about yesterday, and we seems to be gapping down under this 339.50, right? Bearish continuation can go down towards that 320 area if we can really get that follow through. What I'm going to want to see here on this Roku is a full body red candle, right? Full body, full volume. Tell us that same story. And then this Roku can be a lot of fun. Right, Goldman Sachs, we've been talking about this consolidation for a while now, right? So if we can get this breakout over this 420.80, right, this thing's got a chance to go. A little bit of nice consolidation at this 410, can't seem to break down under, can't seem to hold under at least. So we have a chance to kind of rip up and get that continuation move. I like this as a swing play potentially, right? But I'm not starting a swing on a Friday going into a long weekend. Right? Snow, man, this has been a pretty impressive climb up. Man, I love the volume in the buildup. I'm surprised that the volume there yesterday is so low. Like that to me feels a little bit of a trap maybe, right? Like what in this run up when we're getting those tests of that 310, right? We are getting big volume days. I'm not sure why we didn't really get there yesterday. I mean, generally low volume day, right? But if you'd want to see that sign of strength, you want to see that breakout through, right? You would have thought that there's big volume sitting there. So that's the only thing that's giving me just a little ounce of hesitation on this snow. I like those breakouts over 310, right? I think this looks really strong and there's a ton of room up, but we need to be patient and make sure there's no kind of snakes in the grass hiding in this, right, when we look for those breakouts. Okay, PayPal, right? Kind of same move we talked about yesterday, how it's a failed gap fill. Now we're looking for that breakdown under, right? Decreasing volume, maybe those bears are out of strength, so we might get a chance at that gap fill, that 292 plus area. But I'm still happy to play bearish breakdowns under, say, that 284 down towards that 280 area, and it's going to move like $1.50 at a time. Okay, BNTX. We talked about this before. If the market goes red, we see a kind of sustained sell. BNTX might be sort of that play, right? Looking for that breakdown under that 320 on this bear flag setup. Right, Zoom. Right, remember guys, this is a visualization, not an actual candle, right? So big gap down, we're going to call that a full body candle, right? And we're kind of consolidating here. We might be starting to bear flag a little bit again. But my bias for now is to the downside, right? Breaks under that 288 area, have room down about $10 towards that 276, 275, maybe a little bit more, right? We could get that follow through a little bit under, and we'll see. I like the look of this. It's been a nice consolidation after a lot of bearish action, right? Inside bar yesterday. If we can get over that 300 area, we can start looking at calls and have that kind of conversation. So that could be interesting as well, right? If it was weak and it was showing us a ton of weakness, right? Why hasn't it broken down further yet, right? So we need to ask ourselves these questions. So maybe we can play this breakout over that 300 area too. Certainly some potential here. Wells Fargo, man, what a massive three red soldiers, right? Huge volume, huge sell-off inside bar yesterday. I think probably it moved a little bit too much for us, right? Those candles became too big for us to get this kind of sustained follow through here now under, right? We went from $50 down to 43, right? So 15% sell-off in such a short period of time, or 13% sell-off, right? That's a big move in 3 days. So maybe this needs a little bit of consolidation, right? It could take a bit of time. You could look for inside bar breakouts above this 45 towards this 45.20, but man, don't fight this trend, right? There's better bull setups, don't fight it. Right, Nvidia still waiting for kind of this low vol pullback breakout here, right? Decreasing volume on this consolidation, right? So if we can get this breakout now up and over, say this 227.20, right? I think we've got room up towards that 230, 231 plus area, right? Low volume failure, still no volume. That's kind of reclaimed this bull volume, right? So for now, it still feels like bulls might be like they're just like regaining strength. They're catching their breath again. They're reloading, right? They're ready to go. Maybe the way to look at stocks sometimes is not to look at it like a machine gun, right? Where you have this like unlimited amount of firepower and it can just keep firing shots and keep going. You maybe want to look at it like a Civil War musket, right? Where all these guys are in line, they take one shot, takes out one line, and then they got to reload, right? Recompose themselves and go for it again, right? So that might be the way of looking at how this market reacts, right? Every time we get a big move up, right, you got to wait for that reload to go again. So Facebook's actually a sneaky little bearish setup that I like, right? We had a wedge breakout failure, 2 back-to-back kind of downside pressure candles right here on August 30th and September 1st, right? Heavy downside pressure. And then yesterday we followed that up with a DTR bearish engulfing candle, right? So what does that mean? Bearish engulfing on volume, right? And bearish engulfing candle. So tick, tick, right? So now we're looking for breakdowns under, say, this 373.75 area, right? We call it 373.70, right? And then we can move like down towards that 372, right? 370.50. So about like $1.50 at a time, right? Once we can kind of break down. What we're kind of thinking here a little bit is that we can still get this bearish action, and we want to see how it can kind of bounce off of this wedge trend line, right? If this wedge bounces and decides it wants to go, right, we can look for kind of continuation moves back towards this 382. If for whatever reason we get that breakdown, then we know that, okay, this was a wedge fake out, right? Wedge breakout failure. This was a kind of confirmation of that weakness, and we have a chance to kind of ride this down, right, back down towards that 350 zone. So there's a little bit of potential here with this Facebook, maybe a little bit more of a complicated trade than normal, but a lot of potential here if we can't, if we can't break down, if we break down under that trend line. And then one last one here, right? Dow Jones Industrial Average ETF, really nice period of consolidation here. Might be ready for that breakout, right? Why something like this is on watch today? We've got a lot of tech in here, right? We've got so much tech and financials, right? So if we get a rotation out of those names, if they're not ready today, right, this could be that way of playing it. Kind of like how we talked about with what was IWM? Sorry, we talked about with IWM, right? How if sometimes you want to play small caps, but you don't want to deal with bad liquidity, you don't want to deal with halts, right? You play IWM instead, right? This could be that same version, right, for playing kind of an alternative rotation, if we want to call it that, right? So if we see a lot of strength here, right, this could be the play today, and we're pretty confident that we're going to get good volume here and at least kind of consistent spreads to kind of play this move. So that's pretty much what I'm looking for today. Again, guys, my objective, I want to play that first hour and a half, right? If we don't get that love after that first hour and a half, it's hard to kind of anticipate we're going to get that breakout or kind of further continuation follow through the rest of the day, right? So no real rush outside of that time frame. Hopefully we can have catch a nice winner there, but not going to force it, right? Objective here today is to make sure I'm protecting a green week, not giving anything away, and having a nice day, right? So non-farm should be in now, right? So pretty good, right? Unemployment rate lower than expected, right? These are good numbers. So it's a nice bullish catalyst for what's going to be a potentially low volume day, right? That potentially tells us, hey, a little bit of chop. So be careful, right, out there. Let's not give anything away cheaply. Let's not do anything easily. And I'm playing next week's options all day long, right? No, not playing any daily expirations today. So that's really the game plan, guys. Have a good one. Crush it. Happy hunting. And see you all in the live trading room here this morning. For those who want to trade with me full time, right, and see how I trade these setups live, right, feel free to start your 7-day free trial at www.dtrtrading.com. Otherwise, appreciate it if you could like and subscribe. That helps me get this video out to more people. So thanks a lot, guys. Happy hunting, and have a good weekend. Peace.